So privileged to have Joanna Bazzano here, Director of Catering at the Oaklander Hotel. Thanks so much for joining the cookie table.
Thanks so much for having me.
I appreciate you coming. Y- Being in Oakland, it's not too bad to get over here to
No.
Homestead.
No, like 15 minutes.
Good,
Wasn't bad at all.
good. I'm happy to hear that. Welcome to Joyful Commons. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Absolutely. Again, Joanna, you're the Director of Catering at the Oaklander Hotel, and first, I kind of wanted to touch on the hotel itself because I think it's such a beautiful space to have a wedding or a get together in terms of the uniqueness of Spirit and Tales being
Mhm.
there. So you could do a full buyout of that top floor where Spirits and Tales restaurant is.
Yes. So as soon as you get off the elevators,
Mm-hmm.
essentially everything past the front desk is
Mm-hmm.
going to be where your full buyout
Mm-hmm.
is. I love Spirits and Tales because that is your statement bar essentially for the evening.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that it's like a built-in statement bar right when you walk
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
door.
It is. And it creates a fun cocktail and dancing environment too, I
Yes.
think,
Hmm.
which I love. So you're not just in a typical ballroom
Hmm.
and the dancing's just in the center of everything. Like I
Yep.
love the transition to have dinner and then come back out and dance. It's a really, really neat space. You are there more recently though.
Yes.
Mhm.
Almost a year. So since November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going
Went fast.
fast. Oh
I
my gosh.
know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like just from like a wedding planning point of view, made a really great name for yourself. Being at a previous hotel, you're there for a long time and you're really good at what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
started, in the industry, in hotels in general in 2013,
Okay.
2012, 2013.
My
So in
goodness.
hotels for quite some time and
Yeah.
then transitioned into the sales team,
Mhm.
um, at my first property, and then the second property I was at, Fairmont, and then I was there for 6 years,
Mhm.
and then came to the Oaklander for a great opportunity and
Mhm.
absolutely love being there.
Mhm. What was your first job formally in the restaurant industry or the hotel
Front
industry?
desk, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so started out as a front desk agent. I actually did my internship at the Hilton Garden Inn in South Point
Okay.
when I was going to Cal U and worked there and then kind of worked all departments. Um, there was a girl going out on maternity leave, so they asked me to like be a coordinator essentially.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, she did not come back, but fortunately for me, I just kind of stepped into the
Yeah.
catering sales manager role.
That's great.
Into the social market. So I've been in love with weddings for a very long
Mhm.
time.
Well, again, you're very good at what you do, and I'm not just saying that, but there's a lot of people that very clearly don't like what they're doing or they're not good at it and it shows. You are the exact opposite of that.
Thank you.
And as a wedding planner, that is a blessing to have someone to actually enjoy working with. When we worked at the Oaklander together, I was so impressed because we flipped the room in like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, so from start to finish, I
Crazy.
mean, we had to tear down the ceremony, roll in all of the chairs and, get everything set back up. It
Hmm.
comes down to having a great team too.
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
really, really good operational team at
Hmm.
the Oaklander.
Hmm.
Everybody kind of just works so seamlessly together.
Hmm.
We have a lot of like veterans in the hotel, so it's just everybody has their task and that's what they attack and we just get
Mhm,
it done.
mhm, and they sure as heck did, because we looked at each other like, "Whoa, we did it!" And that went really, really well.
Yeah.
So with you being at a hotel, there are, a fair amount of hotel weddings, I guess, in the Pittsburgh area, but again, the Oaklander is special because it is not just a typical ballroom.
Mhm.
Um, People that are getting married at hotels, I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding, even if you're not getting married at a hotel blocks, there is just a lot that goes around that I don't wanna say couples overthink it, I feel bad saying that, but it's very true. I think they kinda overthink things. So there's a lot of topics here that we're going to cover to help if you are getting married at a hotel, especially or again, even just hotel blocks. This is great for you to listen to because this episode specifically is going to explain so much
Yes.
in terms of why things are the way they are. And we're going to start with hotel blocks
Mhm. Walks in general.
in general. No one seems to understand them. So give us a general laydown and basis of them.
Okay, so you have your courtesy blocks versus your blocks that have attrition to them.
Mhm.
So all hotel blocks, no matter what, are going to be at some sort of discounted rate.
Mhm.
A lot of that depends on seasonality. A lot of that depends on the Steelers'
Uh,
home games.
Good point.
With us being in Oakland, a lot of that is Pitt, CMU, Homecoming, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it from our perspective too, when quoting room rates
Right.
for a block itself. So when you have your courtesy block, that's usually there's no financial obligation. There's no obligation whatsoever. That's sort of just a discounted rate code that you receive, and
Mhm.
guests are able to book rooms.
Mhm.
I have never worked at a property where they've done courtesy blocks. So for me, or for even, the clients themselves,
Yeah.
they tend to ask for those because nobody wants to be on the hook for the financial commitment that comes with the attrition.
Yeah.
So that being said, to get into attrition a little bit,
Yes, because
um,
that's a very
that's the big
confusing
one.
thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
So some places do it based on revenue, some places do it based on number of room nights.
Mhm.
The easiest way I always like to explain it is if you have a block of 20 rooms
Okay.
and you have your 80% attrition, right? So
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
responsible for 80% of that block.
Mhm.
Your minimal obligation is to pick up 16 of those rooms.
Okay.
If you pick up 14 out of 16, then you're charged based on, the 2 room nights, depending on
Mhm.
how the venue or the hotel figures
Mhm.
that out. A
Okay.
couple of places do it differently.
Mhm.
Um, that being said, people hear that and kind of panic, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's more challenging, I think, because it's an intangible object, right? You can't necessarily see what you're purchasing.
Right.
So you're like, well, if they don't use them, you'll just resell them,
Mhm.
which is very well the case. It could be the case.
Mhm.
However, when you're asking us for 20 rooms, we're pulling those 20 rooms out of inventory. So nobody else can touch them except for your group.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
When you don't meet your minimum requirement, then the hotel is taking a hit on rooms that we were supposed to have had booked.
Yeah, because they were blocked off, no one else could take them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I always say if it was on the opposite end, let's say somebody did a hotel block and the hotel oversold
Oh.
and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we sold into your block."
Yeah.
Well, then we would be having a very different conversation.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
And again, it's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
You think that you're going to have all of these people staying over
Mhm.
and, they don't pick up the way that you think they're going to.
Mhm.
Now you're stuck paying for rooms that you don't necessarily think you need to pay for. It's
Right.
it's hard. It's a very delicate balance.
Right.
Where I like to start with blocks themselves
Mhm.
and when quoting how many rooms that you think that you need.
Yes, that was gonna be my next question.
I always recommend looking at your guest list first.
'Kay.
You need to figure out how many people are coming from out of town. You need to figure out how many people from your bridal party are going to be staying and whether
Yeah.
they're staying one night versus 2 nights.
Yeah.
And then you kind of take a look at those local guests.
Mhm.
Now, local guests are hit or miss.
They truly are.
Sometimes, though, everybody is coming and everybody is staying.
Mhm.
Like, you could live 20 minutes away and we're having a great time,
Right?
not going home.
Yeah.
And
I've
then
been there, done that. I
yeah,
definitely
right?
have. Yeah.
Like, you make a weekend out of it,
Yes. Yeah.
Like, let's go down,
Yeah.
let's stay somewhere, let's have a good time.
Absolutely.
And then there are the times where you think all these people are gonna stay and then they don't.
Right.
So, if you're inviting 200 people to a wedding, I usually say look at about 10% of that, so 20
Okay.
rooms. Now, that's 20 rooms Saturday night or whatever night the wedding is. Some people get married Fridays and Sundays as well, Thursday nights even.
Mhm.
Um, so on peak, so the heaviest night that people are gonna be staying there,
Mhm.
you need to make sure you have at least 10% of your guest list. If you have a little bit more, traveling from out of town, your bridal party's a little bit bigger, you can up that a little bit
Yeah.
to kind of play it safe. Friday night, you can always do a little bit of less.
Yeah.
Most places will have a minimum requirement per night. So
Mhm.
whether it's 8, 10,
Mhm.
5, 12,
Mhm.
you can even do the minimum amount for the night before, but definitely the night of, I would say at least 10%.
So when you are thinking of rooms, you are thinking the total number, including how many nights,
Yes.
right? So when you say 20 rooms, you don't mean 20 bookings, you mean 20 rooms. So that could be 10 on Friday and
And
10
10
on
on Saturday.
Saturday.
Correct.
Okay. So what is the typical amount that you start at, or you're waiting to see what people ask you for?
I always try to have them get a feel for it,
Uh-huh.
especially when you have to quote rates too, because if you're going to take up a larger majority of the hotel, your room rate might
Mhm.
be a little bit higher
Mhm.
than if you were only going to take 10 rooms and then it might be a little lower.
Mhm.
Again, depends on seasonality and everything like that.
Right.
But I try to get a good idea so when we're giving rates out that they kind of make sense to everybody.
Mhm.
Now, I've had people reach out and they're like, I'm going to start with 60 rooms. And immediately I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Woo.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
That's a
Mhm.
big, again, you're like, okay, we're inviting 100 people. There's 60 couples coming from out of town. Everybody's going to stay.
Yeah.
Nobody takes into consideration the fact that people, whether they're loyal Hilton members, Marriott members,
That's
Accor
right.
members,
Yeah.
if people are booking with points, that's
Yeah.
not going towards your block.
Oh.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is very good to know. I didn't know that. Okay.
It has to be booked within the specific code, within where the block is
Okay.
for it to count towards that specific block.
Okay. And even if a member is going through that link, that's reservation link, can they add their points to that or no?
So you can receive points for the stay,
Got
but
it.
you can't pay with points for that stay.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of points, some people don't know that if you are again a member of, apologize, what is the Oaklander collection?
Marriott.
The Marriott. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're a Marriott member and you're getting married there, can't you get points for the wedding?
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
you can
think
get
that's
points.
really cool.
Mhm.
I like that. So just kind of wrapping this slightly in terms of what is attrition, it is how the percentage of what you are responsible for if you do not book all of the rooms you told the hotel you wanted.
Correct. The
Is that
minimum
is that the
requirement.
best way to put it? Okay.
Yes.
People don't realize how easy it is to get a hotel block, though. Isn't it pretty, like you just call sales,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly.
Call
Yeah.
the hotel and ask for sales. Like that is
Yeah.
truly like one of the easiest things you can do, I think, from like a wedding planning point of view.
Mhm.
And then if you have a wedding planner, the wedding planner probably has a connection and a person there they can just easily email too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, I have a client. This is what we're looking for. Is it fair to ask some of your guests or start trying to ask guests, do you think you're going to stay? Like to get an idea?
I would. I
Right?
mean, I honestly would.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how else I mean, that's one of the when I ask clients, like, what's the what are you thinking?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we have no idea. And I'm like, no, this is like one of the hardest things to figure out, right? Like how
Yeah.
many people are gonna
Mhm.
stay over.
Mhm.
So at least like your bridal party members, I'm sure everybody's in a group chat.
Right.
Just throw it in there.
Throw it in there.
Your close
I
family and
agree
friends,
with
your
that.
aunts and your uncles, I would just, ask
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
see what they say. I mean, again, things can change, but
Right. Right. It's better to get stuck with too many rooms. Now, can you add on rooms? Let's say they book them all before the release date because there is a date that it goes back into general inventory, right?
yes,
That
your
rooms are
cutoff
released.
date. Yep.
Okay. If it's 2 months before that and all the rooms are booked and they have a couple more people wanting to stay there, is there a possibility of adding on rooms then?
It always depends on availability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we have it, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Um, if it's a hot weekend, graduation, Steelers game, something,
Yeah.
sometimes they say no.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's at a higher rate, but it's always worth the question of asking.
Always asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always ask for sure. Now, some couples will find the need to, once they have this block set, we're good. We got it set. People are starting to book it, and you give them a reservation link or a code, and they feel the need to ask for rooming lists weekly. Why? Why? Why are they even? What's the need for one? And two, why is it not necessary?
So for one, I think people do it because there is a financial obligation attached to it.
Okay.
I think because they need to know where they're at and are the rooms filling,
Mhm.
what are we going to be responsible for? Do we need to add more? There's so many unknowns
Mm-hmm.
that kind of seeing the list and looking at the names, they're like, okay, at least I know we're 5 rooms in. This is how many more we need to go.
Right.
Or even sometimes they're like, oh, my bridal party said that they booked and none of the bridal parties on the list.
Yeah.
I know, so that's a good way to keep track of that too.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if you need them weekly.
Yeah.
Closer to the wedding date, closer to the cutoff date. Yes.
Start checking in.
Right. Every, once a month.
It's
Even
fine.
even bi-weekly.
Right.
But weekly, you're just kind of like, is that just another thing that's you're checking off and just kind of reaffirming that anxiety that lives there? Like,
Exactly.
I think you can get away with not doing weekly.
Exactly. Stressing yourself out for no reason.
You're right.
Which is not worth it. And I've had some couples too, like even when I am the planner and being full scale,
Mhm.
I'll see the email and I'm CC'd popping up and they're checking in on rooms. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? You're welcome to talk to me first or if
Yes.
you have a question, because some of it will be like just questions that I can answer. And that
Right.
always drives me crazy. It's like, ask me first, please. 'Cause I would rather bet because everybody's busy. Everybody's so
Yeah.
busy, and it's like, "Just come to me, and I'll help your anxiety a little bit." I like to try at least, right?
I think it's just another one of those things too that you can't control it and they want some semblance of control.
Yes.
And it's like, well, my Aunt Sue needs to say Tuesday, Wednesday, or sorry, Friday, Saturday, whatever day of the week the wedding is.
Yeah.
And, I don't see her on the list yet. So I'm going to make the reservation for her. And then Aunt Sue ends up making the reservation. Now we have two reservations. So it's sometimes just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Way too many
You
cooks
have
in the
to,
kitchen.
at some point, your guests are adults.
Mhm.
They need to go in and make their reservations. And if they
Yes.
don't make their reservations, it's very unfortunate.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that's not your problem.
That's how I feel. It's on them, it's not on you.
Right.
Just so stop babysitting it. Um, couples will usually get a tour of
Mhm.
the space, and within that tour of the site visit, they can see a guest room. Some couples feel like they need to see guest rooms multiple times.
Mhm.
Um, again, what is the need for this? Do you feel it's necessary? Why are we looking at guest rooms like 3 different times?
I don't know the answer to that. The first time, yes, of course. When we're doing a property tour,
Mhm.
for sure. If you call in and you want a room block, but you want to see how big the presidential is in
Yes.
comparison to, one of the smaller suites, in
Mhm.
comparison to one of the conference spaces to figure out what's going to work best for you and your, party, then absolutely we should walk through it.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
second time, maybe it's a little bit closer to the wedding. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I haven't
Do I
been
have
in
enough
there for a
room?
year, right?
Mhm.
Like, let me go back and get the lay of the land.
Mhm.
But if you're coming 3, 4, 5, 6 times to see a room that you've seen before,
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing.
And here I feel like there's solutions to this, right?
Yes.
There's solutions.
There's walkthroughs on the
I was gonna
websites.
say,
Yeah.
a lot of these websites have 3D tours
Mhm.
and will show the room now at this point. Like, so for the most part, wedding parties in particular will get the presidential suite or
Right.
something. So if you know you have that, you can actually tour it online
Mhm.
at the website for the hotel, which is the answer. And I know there's a lot of specifics with getting ready in particular
Yes.
that can stress somebody out. And I understand that. Where can I hang my dress? Where is there room to do hair and makeup? We have 2 stylists each. Can we get a chair, extra mirrors? Like, there's a lot of things that can go into the morning
Mhm.
that I think adds to the stress of needing to see the room to plan it out.
Agreed. 100%.
The best thing I think that you could do too is just when you're seeing it for the first time, even if you don't know if you're going to end up booking that
Mhm.
space, take as many pictures and videos as you can.
Yeah.
So when you do decide to move forward with that venue, you have everything right there. You can go back and have it. Just work smarter, not harder. Is what
Yes.
I always say in terms of that. All the pictures and videos you can.
COVID was great for that. I mean, not that COVID was great, but that's when a lot of the 3D tours really
It's so
became popular.
smart.
So, like, now they're just a really great tool
Mhm.
to have if you do, forget or
Mhm.
wanna see it again.
Mhm. I love them because I will, if I've never been somewhere before, or even if I have, I will walk through it, take a screenshot of the ballroom, for example,
Yeah.
and I will put it in like my design deck and I'll do a design over top of it.
Yeah.
It's like really great. I love them. When I first discovered it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. It's making my job so much easier. Okay. We have our venue. That's also a hotel. We have our rooms. We have our block. Now it's time to talk about welcome bags.
Welcome bags. Yes. Mhm.
Why is there a fee if you want to do welcome bags for your guests at check-in?
So, some hotels do this, some don't.
Mhm.
If you can hand them out at the front desk, typically people don't charge a fee because they're just handing them out at the front desk.
Mhm.
When you're delivering to the guest room, you have to put somebody on essentially to do that. So,
Yeah,
it kind of comes into like a labor perspective at that point
that makes
because you
sense.
have to staff somebody to then drop them off at the rooms, whether it's before check in or, during the check in process itself.
Right. I think handing them out at the front desk is the best way to go. I think some people think that delivery is nicer, but I've had some hotels, let's say you check in on Thursday, you're the one person that checks in. They're not getting their bag until sometime Saturday.
Yeah,
And that I don't understand. I think if you're going to do delivery, should it be after they check in?
it should in theory.
In
Yes.
theory, yes. What what could be some reasons as to maybe why it's not after their check-in?
If that person maybe came on Thursday and the welcome bags didn't come till Friday,
Mm,
then there's a reason right there.
yeah.
Sometimes people maybe wait and just do like one big delivery for all of the bags saying like, "Hey, welcome to the wedding this weekend. Here's this
Yeah.
little gift from the couple."
Yeah.
which it could be nice, but again, to your point, if you're
Yeah.
arriving on Thursday, you want your bag on
I
Thursday.
want your bag.
Yeah,
I want my snackies.
right.
I want my itinerary,
Yes.
that the couple put in there. That's how I feel as
Mhm.
a wedding guest. Um, but the labor fee, it makes so much sense. So yeah, you have to pay someone to go deliver them if you're doing that. That's very, very
Yes.
fair. Now, some couples will ask for early check-in for the entire group because of the ceremony.
Yes. Very often.
What do you do in that sense?
So unfortunately, you're never going to receive early check-in for the entire wedding
Yeah.
unless you book the night before. And people don't understand the whole book the night before premise.
Mhm.
Again, we provide an intangible service.
Right.
So it's not something like, you go pick out your chairs and you can see it and you can feel it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Ours is a level of service that we're providing a room. So it goes on occupancy the night before. So if the hotel's fully committed the night before, you have to wait till all those guests check out. Now, checkout at some hotels is 11,
Yeah.
some it's noon, some
Mhm.
it's 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Then you have late checkouts. Then you have specific suites that people want. So if somebody's booked in the presidential the night before, we have to wait for that person to check out and then go and clean the room. Then you
Right.
VIP inspect the room and then we can get them in. We always, always, always try to make wedding days a priority. We know everybody wants to get in early.
Yeah.
It's just you get to the hotel at 7 a.m., people are already on queue.
Yeah.
Um, but unfortunately, you're kind of at the mercy of what the guest in that room before when they leave is doing.
Right. And you can't predict that or know
And
that for
especially
sure.
when you have those like very particular assignments, like, Aunt Joe needs to be next to Aunt Christina, who needs to be next to cousin Jade, and these two need a joining and this, that, and the other thing. The hotel has limited inventory on those
Right.
things.
Right.
So if you're in a little cluster like that, then we have to wait for all of those rooms to kind of become available in order to get everybody in as quickly as possible.
Yes. I mean, just weddings in general, we're all providing a service, and I think there just needs to be some more understanding to all of it.
Yes,
To
agreed.
all of it. Um, let's say somebody's coming from the airport, so they
Mhm.
don't have a car and they have their luggage with them, but they can't check in yet. Are there any solutions to that?
There's always places to store luggage. Sometimes if that particular room isn't ready, we have before, put them into a different room or kind of a holding room until their room became available, especially if it's on a time crunch. We have rehearsal dinner, this, that, and the other
Yeah.
thing. Um, so we always try to make it work for that guest. Unfortunately, sometimes it's just a waiting game.
Right. That's nice to know though. That's a potential possibility. Just come dressed. If you know you're staying at the
Yes,
hotel
if
and
you
it's
know
at
that you're
3 o'clock.
staying and you have a rehearsal, just come prepared.
Yeah, it's I know it might not be ideal all the time, but
The same thing kind of goes with the hair and makeup too, because I have people ask that question, like, well, can't we just get into the suite early? Listen, I would love to get all of you in at 9 a.m. or
yeah.
6 a.m. There's
Yeah.
nothing I would love more than to
Yeah.
be able to help you have the most seamless day possible. But
Mhm.
again, if we have, 20 suites in the hotel and all 20 of them are committed the night before,
Mhm.
you might not get in. We can't guarantee it.
Mhm. Mhm. You have to book the night before for hair and makeup the next day.
Yes.
You have to. There's no choice or way around that. And I when you have your suite that you book as a couple
Mhm.
Friday and Saturday night, and you know that Saturday during the day you're going to get hair and makeup in there. Sometimes there could be that conversation of like, well, where does my partner go? Where do they get ready or where did they stay? So that's your room for that night, right?
Mhm.
As newlyweds, you get ready in it. You have it for 2 nights. More and more, I'm seeing couples stay together Friday night.
I am seeing that a lot more too, actually.
Mhm. Which, why the hell not? There's no rules.
Right.
There's no rules to this. So I think that's a great thing to do. And then in terms of getting ready, I always say that your partner should get ready in a wedding party member's room or a parent's room, or just have a meeting space of like, okay,
Mhm.
my side of the wedding party is going to meet at so and so's parents and they're going to let us use it from 11 to 3 until we need pictures.
Yeah.
Like those are the great alternatives. So you're not getting 2 suites for 2 nights
Right.
for 2 people.
Right.
So for that person that isn't doing hair and makeup, potentially would be the one that just have a meeting space at a parent space or whatever. I think those are all really, really great alternatives. Would you have anything to add to that?
No, I agree with that. The
Good.
conference spaces I see are kind of becoming more
Oh, that's
popular.
great. That's great
They
too.
are
Yes.
becoming more popular.
Yes.
Now we service rooms in between.
Mhm.
So like when you leave for the ceremony, everything kind of gets cleaned up,
Yeah.
so that you're not coming back to a messy room.
Right.
But the conference space I like as well because it's a bigger space
Yep.
sometimes.
Mhm.
And it provides, we can do floor length mirrors, we can do chairs in there.
Mhm.
It's, a nice place away from the hotel room.
Yeah.
And then when you go back to get your pictures in the room's clean. You're not
Mhm.
worried about,
It's
water bottles and
true.
things being everywhere. So get ready in a space. And then after that, go back down to your room and do all of the staged photos.
That's great.
But then there's nothing that you have to worry about cleaning up.
Right. That's a really great alternative. And I love too when they can get food and beverage through the hotel,
Yes.
and then it just makes a lighter, more enjoyable experience, I
Mhm.
think, for your morning, and you don't have to worry about, picking up food or whatever the case is, Joanna can just bring it. Not Joanna
Certainly can.
specifically, but she can connect you with the right people to bring it. Um, I wanted to also talk about some venue coordinators trying to be wedding planners.
Yes. An age-old question.
Yeah.
To or to not have a planner?
I What is your thoughts?
I am a huge advocate for planners,
Mhm.
and that's not a secret in the industry at all. I feel like a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
A planner provides such a different perspective for a wedding than what I provide at the venue. Now,
Right.
I'm supposed to be the expert at what I do, correct? I am the expert. So I will take care of all of your food, beverage,
Mhm.
logistical, venue
Mhm.
related things.
Mhm. Mhm.
I always use this example with my couples. If you go to a florist and say, "This is what I want," and you do your mock ups and everything,
Mhm.
and the florals come the day of the wedding, I'm like, "Oh my God, these are beautiful."
Right.
And you get there and you're like, "Oh my God, these aren't the right flowers." And now we're stuck with the wrong flowers and no time. What are we to do here?
Right, because
I won't
knowing what
have
the flowers
access to
were was
that.
not your job.
Right. I
Yes.
won't have access to what those flowers are supposed to look like.
Yes.
I don't have access to, your hair and your makeup people's cell phone numbers. Now I
Right.
ask for who's coming to the hotel so we can get everybody in and
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
But when there are those like little crises that happen throughout the day,
Mhm.
that's really where you want a planner to
Mhm.
take over. And it's just nice to have an extra set of eyes on things.
Right.
You want a point person. You don't want to have on your day.
Mhm.
Because I think that so many people are like, no, because I'll just do it. I'm type A. I like to do this. And there's no problem with that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you feel like you can do it, by all
Mhm.
means. But
Mhm.
at the same time, you don't want 20 people coming up to you on your wedding day. What's this? Where are we going next? Where's the photographer?
No,
What pictures are we supposed to be doing? Like, you want somebody to kind of,
be that
take
person.
control over that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then for me personally, it makes my job a lot easier.
Right?
To have somebody there who understands in because
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to talk, operationally, and this is why things are. Um, and then usually the planners will just kind of have our backs in the sense of like, no, this is smart the way that we need to do this
Right.
because we want to have the same end goal.
Mhm. Mhm. Working together
Yes.
is what I always say too. We work together. And just like you said, you have your side of the expertise, and then I would have my side of everything. So it just makes the wedding day flow better and the process we hope to
Hmm.
flow better as well. And I always just like having, again, a competent venue coordinator who is just like not trying to change things or say you need to do something this way, but
Yeah.
more or less having a conversation of, okay, maybe we haven't done it that way before, but I could see how that could work. Or
Yeah.
also, I don't think we should, this is what could happen if we do it that way based on the logistics of my venue and my
Hmm.
space, which is, I welcome that. I want that as a
Right.
wedding planner.
I will say early in my career, early in my early 20s, when
Hmm.
I started in weddings, I was anti planner.
Yeah.
And I'll say it with my chest too. I
Yeah.
just thought like, no, why do they need anybody? They have me. I know what I'm doing. It was
Hmm.
more of a pride thing for me than
Sure.
anything
That's fair.
until I got a little bit more experience in the industry and was
Hmm.
like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
This helps so, so much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and there are a lot of great venue coordinators
Yeah.
around the Pittsburgh area
Hmm.
too, but my advice to everybody is A, to have a planner. You have to be comfortable with those people, right? You need
Yeah.
a planner that you can help with. And again,
Hmm.
bounce ideas off with.
Hmm.
And like you said, everything's a collaboration. Okay,
Hmm.
my couple really wants this. How can we achieve this?
Right.
And that's how we figure it out. And
Hmm.
sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't.
Right.
But I think sometimes it's just a pride thing, really.
That makes sense. That makes sense that it's a pride thing, and I've noticed that I feel like that pride does come from more younger people in the industry, which is fine. It all takes time to get acclimated and see,
Yeah.
but yes, once you see that it's a collaboration and it makes your job easier, because that's all I ever want is for everybody to feel comfortable and happy and not like they're doing way more than they need to be
Right.
doing, right? But the time we've worked together too, I use IO Planner. We've talked about this
Oh,
before.
yeah.
It's so funny how I added you into IO Planner. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't always typically do this, but sure, here you go. But then you had access to everything we've already been doing.
Mhm.
And then you were able to even answer questions without asking, which I thought was really cool too and helpful. You had access to the timeline and just saw everything too. But I trusted you in that portal.
Thank
But I
you.
wanted you to see it too. So it's just what did we plan? And then what advice do you have in terms of your venue and just bringing it all together is always what's great.
Right.
That kind of brings me to high turnover rate in hotels in the service industry.
Yes. So typically, I think it's like 3 to 5 years somebody stays at a venue
Oh, wow.
and they kind of move on.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it all comes down to growth. The hotel industry in itself is small.
Yeah.
So when somebody leaves a position,
Hmm.
then, 4 or 5 other coordinators, sales managers, catering managers are going after that same position to try to, grow
Yeah.
in their own careers as well. So
Hmm.
I think that attributes a lot to it.
Makes sense.
I also think that sometimes people go in and they think like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a wedding planner,"
Right.
and they see that it's more on the operational side of things, and they're like, "Oh, maybe this isn't the route for me,"
Okay.
and kind of back it off
Because
of
they
that
want
end.
to be more of a wedding
Mhm.
planner and they're not. Well, sorry. Sorry about that. No, that's all very fair. I've had a lot of couples feel very apprehensive or get upset when they see someone from their hotel venue specifically leaves. And usually when this happens, obviously I'm noticing it because I'm their planner or I'm involved in some way, shape, or form, whether it's day of coordination or full scale. But when I am more on a partial to full scale side of things, I always say, especially in that case, you have zero reason to be up in arms and upset about. And that is not to ever take offense to the person that
Right.
left. It is just truly like you have had me this whole time
Mhm.
planning all of your details. When the new person comes in, I'll let them know what's up. And even from a standpoint, actually, this weekend, I have a wedding at a club and the venue coordinator is on maternity leave. So not from a case that they left, they just went on leave and somebody else is stepping in to help, who's actually above her, but she didn't have everything. And I was like, listen, I'm going to send you 3 documents of literally everything that you can think of because they're full scale clients at that point. So I had their tasting notes. I had everything. I had their
Yeah.
whole menu. And I'm like, this is it. Like, and they were literally like, I literally have no notes. I have no questions. Like, I was like, great. Like, so she was able to go on maternity leave, feel great. The next person step in and feel good and have no
Mhm.
questions because I literally had every single detail. So it's not, you should be moving and doing better in certain circumstances,
And
right?
growing. Right.
And
Yeah, of
growing, right, right,
course.
right. But it is not something to be super, super, super stressed or upset about. And I also had this happen more recently too, where we received an automated email saying so and so is no longer with the hotel or the company. And I immediately get a text from my full scale clients. We weren't told this, we didn't know. And it was the group's room coordinator.
Mhm.
So it wasn't even the venue coordinator. And I was like, literally everything's fine. Nothing is happening. Like, it's okay. It's okay. And I just immediately sent an email and I was like, okay, who is our next
Yeah, who's our
coordinator? That's
person?
it. That's it.
I think during weddings, people get so attached to you.
Yeah.
They get attached to their people.
Yeah.
They're like, "This person knows absolutely everything."
Yes, which
Which
is very fair.
right. But again, why you hire a planner?
Right. Thank you. Yeah. But before you again grew, you were somewhere for a while. Your last hotel, you said the Fairmont.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
were there for a while.
6 years.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's pretty good.
I was
So
6 years at the hotel before that too.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's great. I think there has been like a couple scenarios where it would be the same couple and it was like 2
Ugh.
coordinators or 2 something in like that same couple. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. I could see why you're feeling stressed, but again,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, thankfully I've been the rock or like
The anchor.
yeah, the
Yeah.
whole time, so it's going to be okay, but, um, Just one of those things, it is what it is. I just feel like I'm always explaining that to my couples. It's okay. Few other things with hotels and venues as we're going through this. We talked about booking the night before and all that good stuff. After parties. After
After parties.
parties. Or just showing up to a hotel unannounced. Why should it not be unannounced?
Well, so some bars and hotels close at midnight.
Mm. Mhm.
Some places close at 11. It
Right.
depends.
Right.
If you don't know the business hours, which sometimes people do, sometimes people don't,
Mhm.
and you show up and you're ready to go for the after party and they're closed at midnight, you're going to be very upset.
Yeah. Will they stay open?
Not at that point. No.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do it in advance.
Right.
And usually when you're paying, a minimum, a bartender fee or something like that, it is to staff those people to be there past midnight.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um And again, you staff for normal business levels. Now, if you have 2 or 3 wedding blocks in, maybe staff another person, have another manager on, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if you're rolling 100 people deep and we have no idea that you're coming, that's a lot to ask somebody to handle. We will
Crazy.
do our very, very best
Yeah.
to make it work.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're in the business of doing, right? We
Right.
want to make the guests happy.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if we have a heads up of that coming, then you have a world in front of you. You can have late night snacks. You could do
Yeah.
signature drinks. You could
Mhm.
do, there's
Mhm.
the possibilities are really endless at that point
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
what you can do.
Yeah.
But when you show up with 100 people and we have no idea that it's coming, then, bar lines are something that can happen.
Right.
The restaurant might be closed, so you can't get food.
Right.
You're not allowed to bring outside food into a lot of places. So then now you're ordering pizzas upstairs and you're getting kicked out because you have outside food.
Oh, right.
So there's just so many things that could go wrong, I think.
Or noise complaints because you have so many people in a room.
Yep.
That's happened
Hmm.
before. Plan out your after parties. It's
Yes.
okay. Just there has to be some structure to it, and that's very, very fair. We want to make sure your bar is properly staffed. I would want it to be if it was
Well,
my
yeah,
wedding
I
day.
mean,
Come on, come on. You mentioned food and beverage minimums.
yes.
I think that's a really good conversation as well because I think that can confuse couples too. Um, a lot of spaces again will have a food and beverage minimum when it's an all-inclusive venue in the
Hmm.
sense where the catering is in-house.
Yeah.
So first off, what is a food and beverage minimum and why does a hotel, for example, have one?
So it's going to be your minimum spend. So
Okay.
I think that if you phrase it that way, it's a little bit easier to comprehend minimum spend.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to have this space, you need to spend a minimum of $2,000.
Yeah.
Now that could be all food. That could be a combination of food and drink. You could go heavier on the bar if you wanted and lighter on the food,
Mm-hmm.
but there has to be some sort of combination of the two to make up that minimum spend.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes there's a room rental too on top of all of that. But
Right.
usually if you have a higher food and beverage minimum, you won't have as high as a rental sometimes.
Right.
That's the case
Which
sometimes.
is nice.
Yeah.
Because the food and beverage is how hotel specifically is making their money. When it comes to that number, so let's say it's for a wedding, it's 18,000. How, for someone that really is worried about budget
Mhm.
or is trying to contemplate their budget, how would you recommend that somebody calculates that potentially? Like, okay, just because it's 18,000 doesn't mean you're not going to go over it. And
Right.
that's always my concern.
It's always a minimum spend,
Right.
not a maximum.
Right.
So if you have a specific package that you're working within, or a specific number in your head, let's say, the plate per person is $199, then I would take $199 times however many guests you have,
Mhm.
and that's what you're actually going to be spending.
There you go.
And then on top of that, you have the service charge and the sales tax.
Mhm.
So even then, that's just your subtotal. That's not even the full total.
Right. You will help them get kind of an expense so they can see it
Yes.
though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Which is very helpful.
I
and
do
nice.
estimates before
Yes,
anybody
estimates.
looks at
That's the word I
anything.
was looking
Yeah.
for. I was like,
It's easier to break it down that way and kind of see. And
It
then
is.
the other thing that I think confuses people sometimes is when you
Mhm.
build specific packages,
Mhm.
you'll have certain allotments. Like the bar, for instance, is $65 of the $179 or the $199. The
Mhm.
food is X amount.
Mhm.
So then when they kind of see that broken down, they're like, oh,
Mhm.
well, I thought that was included. Well, it is. It's just allotted to a different,
That makes sense.
because, food has to go to food and alcohol has to go to alcohol so that we're
Yeah.
tracking it correctly.
And sometimes once you choose your menu, that can completely change your estimate as well. Some
Can.
things are more expensive depending on what type of level of bar you choose, or,
Mhm.
you know, people will be out there tasting and then they start asking questions of like, well, I really like this wine. What would it
Mhm.
be for me to bring this wine in? These are all factors just keep making it go up and up and up.
Mhm.
When it comes to a tasting in particular too, I've had some couples be like, well, why? Why do I need to give my options for the tasting 2 weeks in advance? They're a restaurant, aren't they? Or don't they just can't they just have the food? What's the answer to that?
So, we need time to prepare too,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
you're coming in for your wedding where
Mhm.
the dishes need to be presented accordingly. So,
Mhm.
we need to make sure that we have everything in house.
Mhm.
Just because we're a restaurant or there's a restaurant in the hotel does not mean that that restaurant kitchen runs the banquet kitchen.
Exactly.
There
Yep.
are so many different little
Mhm.
areas that people work and
Mhm.
have, certain products for certain areas.
Right.
Not even necessarily, the hors d'oeuvres. If you're hand making the hors d'oeuvres and we're out of wedding season, let's say we're doing tastings in January, we need to make sure we
Yeah.
have the stuff to make it.
Right.
And additionally to that, I know it's really, really hard because you look at this menu and you're like, well, how am I I'm supposed to make these decisions for my big day,
Yeah.
but I have to already narrow down the selections. But it's like a lot of menus are so extensive.
Mhm.
We can't prepare every single thing that's on a menu for you to be able to taste. We won't even get through the hors d'oeuvres. You'll be
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
So
That's
sometimes it's
true.
easy. I mean, come on. Like
It's true.
sometimes it's easier to select ones that you know that you're gonna like. And there
Right.
are some that are probably out that you're like, I'll never eat that.
Right.
So why are we tasting it?
Exactly,
So
exactly. And it is okay to choose something else on the menu that you didn't taste after
it
the
is.
tasting.
It is. If you have a safe shrimp cocktail is a safe bet,
Yeah.
right? Shrimp cocktail. No, I could never have it because I'm allergic to shrimp.
Oh,
But
fair.
people have had shrimp cocktail at weddings.
Mhm.
There's no need to go in and taste that at a tasting.
Right.
And if you end up wanting to select something different, then that's a great, one to fall back on.
Mhm, mhm. Vegetarian and vegan is always another thing
Yeah,
that people feel like they either need to list separately on the invite when it's time to choose, or a lot of the time it could just be accommodated. Oh, we might only have 2 or 3 people. Okay, well then why are you choosing the vegetarian option as your third meal choice?
hmm
When if you just would tell your venue that, "Hey, I just have 2 vegans," believe it or not, sure shit, you can accommodate that, can you not?
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's very easy.
it's soup's easy. Soup's easy, and always just making a list, and again, your planner and your venue will work together in terms of, okay, well, here is the allergies, if the
Yeah.
couple needs help with that, like, we're always here to help. But there's a lot of easy answers to stuff like that. Um, the last thing I wanted to touch base with you on, Joanna, is I think a really, really great conversation as well in terms of, because I get this a lot. Venues, hotels legally can only have an open bar for X amount of hours. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Why?
Well, this is funny. This actually changed last year.
Shut up.
It's 6 hours.
Okay, great. 6 hours is good.
Typical 4 or 5.
Okay.
The biggest price point in a
Mhm.
lot of the packages is going to be your bar.
Mhm.
If you want a 6-hour bar, you're going to spend $90 per person. And that's going to be for your basic level bar.
Right, right.
So at the end of the day, nobody's really going to want to spend that much.
Mhm.
Or even if you do want to spend that much, which that's fine, 6 hours is a lot of drinking time.
It is. It
You
is.
know everybody's having fun before.
Mhm.
And, you know, some places make you close the bar for dinner. Some places don't make you close the bar for dinner.
Right.
6 hours is just a really, really long time to have a reception, I think,
Mhm.
in my own opinion.
Mhm. Does that include an after party?
No, it's a separate event.
See, that's great because I've had some hotel venues say that, like, depending on what the case is, that is still included, and then what's the point of having an after party there? Go somewhere else. In the one scenario that we were run
hmm
into. That's great though, that it's a separate event in that sense,
But
at
again,
least at the
everybody
Oaklander.
does it differently.
Right, but at
So,
the Oaklander. More reason to book, you know what I mean? More reason to book. It's just becomes a liability, and it's dangerous if people are drinking
mhm,
for super, super long too. I think a very common timeline if you're getting married on site is usually like 4 o'clock start time for your
mhm.
ceremony, and then like a 10 or 10:30 end time.
And I think that's plenty.
It really is. Maybe 11 max.
Right.
But if you're going 4 to 11, then close the bar down during formalities
Mhm.
and things like that to be able to get your 6-hour bar. It's all very fair. We don't need people thrown up
Yeah.
in bathrooms.
No. You don't want that either.
No.
You don't want that on your day.
No, not at all. We don't need it. All things hotel venues and food and beverage and catering, it is good to talk about it because we haven't talked about it yet on the Cookie Table podcast. So, Joanna Bazzano, I appreciate you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Again, Director of Catering at the Oaklander Hotel at the Oaklander Hotel on the IG. You guys have a nice Instagram.
Thank you.
Do
Thank
a
you.
good job
Yeah.
at that. But thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for having me on here.
Wait, did I say
You said you did. I was like, oh, you're so welcome.
Thanks so much for joining me. Oh my gosh.